Consider also the fact that every raindrop, brook, river, and stream seeks the unity of the ocean from which it came for the purpose of finding the balance of that oneness in order that it can repeat its seeming separateness. In this manner, life springs from oneness to manifest one half of the life cycle, and returns to oneness as death to manifest the other half. That is the inviolate order of nature. There is no other order. That is the law of nature. There is no other law than that one of rhythmatic balanced interchange between the opposite halves of cycles which forever spring from oneness to manifest oneness in multiple forms of individual expressions. When we say that life of man flows through him to manifest the ideal of man as a part of the God ideal, it is like saying that the ocean forever flows through each brook and river to manifest the ideal of the ocean. Whenever we say that man has a forever changing body to manifest the ideal of man, it is like saying that the brook has a forever changing body to manifest the ideal of the brook. Likewise, when we say that our bodies live and die because they appear and disappear in cycles, it can likewise be said that the bodies of brooks and rivers appear from the mist, disappear into the oneness of their source, and reappear from it in countless cycles of appearances, disappearances, and reappearances. We cannot see the bodies of brooks when they are mist of heaven, nor when they disappear into the oneness of their ocean source. But that does not mean that there is a discontinuance anywhere in their cycle. Likewise, then man's body disappears from our sensed vision into the earths and heavens from which it formerly appeared as an assemblage of gases, liquids, and solids. We think of that body as having discontinued. We say it is dead. Yet it will appear from that same oneness of earth and heavens into which it disappeared as the same kind of a complex body which has no resemblance whatsoever to the earth or heavens from which it sprang. Every individual separate thing which appears from any unitary source, whether from space, seed, earth, ocean, or sun, disappears into that same oneness to lose its identity in its unity, and as surely reappears from that same source to regain its identity as a multiple unity of that one. That, again, is God's law. That is the order in which nature asserts its continuity. The wombs of nature are also tombs. Rebirths arise from death. Earth and heavens interchange equally. What earth gives to heaven in one half of a life cycle, heaven gives back to earth to complete the cycle. Consider the earth. If you dig a shovel of it anywhere, it all seems the same. Yet out of it have come and gone countless millions of many varieties of flowers, insects, birds, animals, vegetables, and chemical compounds, to become digested into the oneness of that shovelful of earth. Think of the marvelous colors of growing things. Think of the perfumes of flowers, the sounds of insects or of animals which have come from that earth and have gone back into the oneness of its dust. Think of the noises of city streets and of industry. All these have come from that dust of earth and have returned to it as death, as the death half of their cycles, for reborning as their opposite life half. Consider the seed of the tree. In its oneness it is the whole tree, every leaf of it, no two leaves being alike, every branch and twig of it, the bark of it, and the spiral of its unfolding. Yet the finest microscope in the world could not find even one of those countless leaves which will unfold from that seed into the very-formed chlorophyll greens that, likewise, could not be found in the seed. Consider the sun itself. In its oneness of incandescent light in every unit of form in all this creating universe. All animal life and vegetable life is there, together with all mineral forms, forms of metal, of crystals, the ruby, diamond, and jasper, throughout the immense bulk of the sun is as much a oneness of simulated light in its incandescent form as the earth is a oneness of simulated light in its condensed form. Everything we know of in our familiar environment of earth comes from the sun to manifest the ideal of creating things in countless individual units of each ideal. Our senses recognize these forms. We give each one a name to recognize its individuality. We analyze each one and note its difference from every other one. Consider all waves of the ocean as being extensions of the ocean, therefore all being extensions of each other. In each wave is an extension of every other wave. It therefore follows that every action taking place in any one wave is likewise taking place on every other wave. As no two waves are alike, so likewise are no two actions alike. A powerful action may take place upon one wave, such as the catastrophe of a steamship broken in two, while nothing extraordinarily takes place upon any other wave, small or large, within miles of that catastrophe. Yet it cannot be said that one wave of the ocean was guilty of sinking that great ship. Every wave of the entire ocean, small and large, near and far, was equally responsible for the sinking of that ship, for one wave could not be except that all other waves be. Likewise, all men, being extensions of each other, are equally responsible for the actions of each and every other man. No man on earth can say, "I am innocent. I have done nothing to hurt anyone." Civilization is the sum total of all mankind's thinking. It is what every man has made it. Not even the unborn babe is exempt from guilt of the entirety of the world's criminal actions, as well as he is glorified by the greatest of noble actions. Every act of every man either lifts or lowers all mankind, as every raindrop and rising mist either raises or lowers the entire ocean. The Hitlers, Mussolinis, and Napoleons are the products of the same civilization as are geniuses such as Mozart, Beethoven, Wagner, Leonardo da Vinci, and Edison. When one man hurts the world, it is because hate is in the world as a product of man's thinking. No one could or would hurt another if love alone were in the world. Not one man in all creation, except Jesus, has manifested only love. The world of men hate and fear as well as love. Everything in this solar system emerged from the sun to manifest its own individuality in countless units. It then returns to it to lose its individuality and separateness in the oneness from which it sprang. That which was hot, incandescent, formless light became the cool form of a meadow violet or orchid of the swamp or a rose in your garden. The oneness of earths and oceans comes from the oneness of the sun. Each is an extension of the sun, just as all forms which emerge from their seed are extensions of their seed, as their seed are extensions of the sun. This is a universe of one thing, light, the still light of God. All creating things in it are simulations of that light expressed by motion. All variations of form in the universe are variations of motion. Variation of motion deceives the senses of man into believing in varied substances of various things. There are no substances nor varied things. Individuality, separateness, change, measure, and form are due entirely to spiral light waves which centrifugally extend from the sun and return to it centrifugally to repeat the extension and retraction. There are no separate things in the universe. There are no two of anything. The universe is wholly mind, omnipotent, omnipotent, and omnipresent mind. That which we call vibrating wave of matter are but the electric recordings of God's knowing as manifested by his thinking. God alone is.